So the deciding match between the Wallabies and Ireland is not too far away. For me, even though I'm an All Blacks fan, this is the most anticipated game of the week. I think for a lot of people, they're not going to disagree. Australia took the first one, 18 points to 9. Ireland, the second one, 26 points to 21. Two pretty even teams, and they've been locked in a pretty close battle for both of these games. Like both games, right up until kind of towards the end, either team could have taken it. So yeah, lots to play for in this deciding match. Australia, I think, will definitely be looking for improvement over last week because despite the scoreline, only being a few points, they were under the pump for large periods of that game. They'll definitely need some more ball because they were kind of feeding off scraps for part of that game, and they really need to get their foot more in that door. For Ireland, it's just about stomping down and saying, yep, we're number 2 in the world for a reason. Looking up rather than looking down, looking to chase down the All Blacks rather than kind of competing with the rest of the following pack. And also probably converting more of those kind of chances and more of that dominance into points because, like I said, Australia could have still snatched that game at the end, and based on the way Ireland have performed throughout that game, you would have thought they kind of would have been beyond that come the 80th minute. But we'll see. I'll put the teams in the description, but there have been a few changes for both sides. So Guinea is obviously out with his broken arm, so Phipps starts. Personally, I am a Jake Gordon fan, but he's not even in the 23. It's Phipps starting with Powell on the bench, so I guess if nothing else, that's a bit of experience. But I mean, Phipps is a guy who sometimes struggles to make that number 9 jersey his own for the Waratahs, so we'll see how he does in Wallaby Gold. Timu has been dropped for this third game. He's not in the 23. He really struggled to, especially in that last game, to convert that Super Rugby form into Test match kind of form because, yeah, in Super Rugby he has been a bit of a beast, just busting tackles and really dominating some contact areas, but yeah, just not quite able to get it done in this Irish series. His replacement is Lukhan, who's kind of a lock loose forward, so he's going to be playing at number 6. He definitely adds a bit of height, good in the line out. So Pocock moves to 8. Obviously Hooper's still at 7, but they've been shuffling around that back 3 at scrum time anyway, so which number's on Pocock's back probably doesn't really matter. It's still a 6-2 split on the bench, so he's only got 2 backs in Powell and Reece Hodge, so most of the backs are pretty much unchanged, but Hanigan has come in on the bench as well. You've got to think that Coleman is probably lucky to be playing after that shiner he had. It was a bit of a lump around just on his cheek, I guess, last week, but he's still named in the starting 15, so he must have come good from that. For Ireland, it's probably more changes than we expected, but a few of them are kind of injury forced changes. So Levy is injured. So Amahani moves to 7, a spot that we're not really used to seeing him in an Ireland jersey. CJ Stander moves to 6, and Jake Cronin is at 8. They've also changed some of the front row. So Cronin's at hooker and McGrath is at loose head. Healy is still on the team. I think there were questions about whether he was going to be fit, but he's been training, and he's named on the bench. Conway and Ringrose are also injured, so Stockdale and Aki come back into the team. Carberry is not in the 23 whatsoever. Ross Byrne is on the bench. I believe it'll be his debut if he comes on. But you got to imagine Sexton will play most, if not all, of the minutes in this game. So yeah, Checker has not really rotated things a lot. I mean, there was perhaps a question about whether he would really change things up after the way the team performed last week, but it's more of a tweak. I guess he's seen enough positives to stick with most of the same guys. So yeah, he's just tweaked things a little bit, but also the Guinea thing's kind of a forced change, so we'll see if that really affects the way they're playing. They'll need to be kind of exerting more dominance at the breakdown because that's an area they got real pay in the first game, but in the second game weren't quite able to do the same. So we'll see. Ireland, Again, probably not as many changes as Coach Schmidt would have liked to make. I think he would have probably liked to keep things a bit more balanced, but if players get injured, kind of what can you do? If nothing else, for both these teams, this is fantastic World Cup prep. It all comes down to one game, which simulates a World Cup environment. You've both got key men out with injuries, simulates a World Cup environment, so all this pressure on, unlike some of the other series, New Zealand, France, South Africa, England, it's all to play for. So going into World Cup, I reckon this is fantastic for both teams. Even for whoever loses, it's going to be a big learning experience for some of these guys. And like I said, Ireland definitely to convert some more of those chances, because ideally, if they can get that same dominance, they'll want to be beyond 7 points come the 80th minute for sure. Hopefully the ref this week is a little less whistle happy. Last week was a bit stop-start with the ref, bit of inconsistency shown in his game. So again, always hope every week that the ref is not a talking point. Fingers crossed for that one, but you never know. And yeah, the bookies have got the Irish by 3. I believe this is the first time Ireland has been a favourite, so it's still not much in it. It still looks to be a close game. Very looking forward to this one. Let me know your guys' thoughts on the squads. How do you think this one's going to go? There's been a bit of banter in the World Rankings video about whether it's going to be Ireland or whether it's going to be Australia. Yeah, I'm looking forward to it, and I guess I'll talk to you guys after the game. All right, see you later.